All right, so MTG explained as a question. Why does God get angry with Balaam in Numbers 22, verses 20 through 22, for going when it seems he just told him to go in verse 20? All right, let's look at it. This might be a good example of why context is so important. I love doing this because the Bible just keeps it helps us out if we let it. Okay. God came to Balaam at night and said, if the men come to call you, rise and go with them, but only the word which I speak to you, that you shall do. So Balaam rose in the morning, saddled his donkey, and went with the princes of Moab. Balaam's kind of being like a prophet for hire here. And then God's anger was aroused because he went. And the angel of the Lord took his stand in the way as an adversary against him, meaning he's gonna die. Right? And he was riding in his donkey, and the two servants were with him. Now the donkey saw the angel of the Lord standing in the way with his drawn sword in his hand, and the donkey turned aside out of the way and went into the field. The irony here is that an animal has greater spiritual and perception than Balaam. Balaam's the fool. So Balaam struck the donkey. I'm going to keep reading to give us context. Struck the donkey to turn her back onto the road, and the angel of the Lord stood in the narrow path between the vineyards with a wall on this side and a wall on that side. When the donkey saw that the angel of the Lord, she pushed herself against the wall and crushed Balaam's foot against the wall. Crunch. So he struck her again. Then the angel of the Lord went further and stood in a narrow place where there was no way to turn either to the right hand or the left. And when the donkey saw the angel of the Lord, she lay down under Balaam. So Balaam's anger was aroused, and he struck the donkey with his staff 3 times now. He's done this. He struck this donkey who's more wisdom and fear of God than he has. Then the Lord opened the mouth of the donkey, right? This was a miracle. The Bible's not teaching that donkeys can talk. The Lord opened the mouth of the donkey, and she said to Balaam, what have I done to you that you have struck me these 3 times? This is like a puppetry thing. God is putting words in this animal's mouth to teach Balaam a lesson. And Balaam said to the donkey, because you have abused me, I wish there were a sword in my hand, for now I would kill you. He's so enraged, he's so furious that he responds back. And so the donkey said to Balaam, am I not your donkey on which you've been ridden ever since I became yours to this day? Was I ever disposed to do this to you? And he said, no. Then the Lord opened Balaam's eyes, and he saw the angel of the Lord standing in the way with his drawn sword in his hand. And he bowed his head and fell flat on his face. And we need to know this. And the angel of the Lord said to him, why have you struck your donkey these 3 times? Behold, I've come to stand against you because your way is perverse before me. Then the donkey saw me and turned aside from me these 3 times. If she had not turned aside from me, surely I would also have killed you by now and let her live. And Balaam said to the angel of the Lord, I've sinned, for I did not know you stood in the way against me. Now, therefore, if it displeases you, I will turn back. Right? He offers to turn back. And the angel of the Lord said to Balaam, go with the men, but only the word that I speak to you, you shall speak. That was the lesson. So Balaam went with the princes of Balak. Go ahead, but this was all a sort of intentional moment of lesson to scare the poop out of you, Balaam, so that you will not speak anything other than what I tell you to speak. Consequently, in the story, Balaam goes to offer prophecies that are very important and very significant, and it was very significant that he did not say anything he wasn't supposed to say. This causes him to lose out on the money he wanted, if I remember the story correctly. But there's... So God says, yeah, go ahead and go, but let's back up a little bit more for greater context still. So Balaam says, he's asked like, hey, I want to go with these people, and they're going to pay him money to go and prophesy. And God tells him in verse 12 of Numbers 22, you shall not go with them. You shall not curse the people, for they are blessed. So Balaam rose in the morning, and he says, go back to your land, for the Lord has refused to give me permission to go with you. Hey, I'm going to follow what he said. And the princes of Moab rose and went to Balak and said, Balaam refuses to come with us. Then Balak sent princes more numerous and more honorable than they. Why? Because, man, it makes you feel important when big, important people come to you and ask you for things. And they came to Balaam and said to him, thus says Balak, the son of Zippor, please let nothing hinder you from coming to me, for I will certainly honor you greatly, and I will do whatever you say to me, which is a huge thing. When a king's like, anything you ask, I'll give you. It's a big deal. Therefore, please come curse this people for me. Then Balaam answered and said to the servants of Balak, though Balak were to give me his house full of silver and gold, I can't go beyond the word of the Lord my God to do less or more. Now, therefore, please you also stay here tonight, that I may, this is the squirrely part, that I may know what more the Lord will say to me. Now Balaam is like, hey, God, you already told me don't go. But God, they're offering me even more money this time. They're going to give me even more prestige this time. Are you sure? Are you sure I can't go? Do you see the compromise beginning? And God came to Balaam at night and said to him, if the men come to call you, rise and go with them. Now he can go, but this is now going to be a lesson to Balaam and a lesson to them. So the angel of the Lord doesn't intend to actually kill Balaam. He intends to teach him, okay, you've already compromised in wanting to go, but I'm going to use this now. But you better not go beyond what I tell you to say. So he puts that fear of God into Balaam even more. I think when you read the whole story, you see that this situation. God says, don't go. Balaam's like, but they give me more money. But I say, fine, you go. Don't you dare say anything beyond what I say. And here's Balaam, maybe in his heart thinking, I'm going to say whatever they want me to say. I'm going to make a lot of money. I'm going to make some big friends, and this is my day. My success is on its way now. And so God gives him the scare of his life on the road to say, don't you dare go beyond what I say. And then Balaam doesn't go beyond. So that's how I see it.